Good morning everyone. Today I'm going to present my endodontic portfolio. The tooth that I selected is a tooth 26, which is a sound natural tooth. From the radiograph shown, the tooth has a normal pulp chamber, while the canals appear to be sclerosed. For the estimated working length, mesiobuccal canal has an estimated working length of 20 mm, while distobuccal canal and plateau canal has an estimated working length of 16 mm. For the excess cavity, this is a maxillary molar, and hence the external outline form should be rhomboidal in shape with the base towards the buccal side and the apex towards the palatal side. Firstly, the bud is angulated parallel to the long axis of the tooth, and a drop-in effect should be felt, which indicates that the pulp chamber has reached. For the self-reflection for this part, I realized that there's an incomplete removal of pulp chamber roof, which causes a difficulty in obtaining a straight line access. The file can be bind to the buccal surface indicate that there is an incomplete enlargement of the cavity in the buccal aspect of the tooth. Next, I proceed with the pulpectomy and corner flaring. The corner part of the root canal is enlarged up to 2/3 of the canal length, and a ProTaper universal hand file is used in a balanced force movement with lubricating paste, or also known as RC prep. Next is working length determination. The file tip for mesiobuccal and plateau canals are both within 0 to 1 mm from the radiographic apex, and hence no adjustment is needed. However, the file tip for distobuccal canal is slightly more than 1 mm from the radiographic apex, and hence the IAF and working lengths are adjusted. After the adjustment and correction, the correct working length for mesiobuccal canal is 17 mm, while distobuccal and plateau canal is 15 mm. Next is canal preparation. The canal is enlarged first by using hand ProTaper universal S1 file to the confirmed working length, followed by S2 and F1 using lubricant. While for the apical preparation, hand ProTaper universal F1, F2 and F3 are used. The master apical file, also called as MAF, is the largest file that can reach to the full working length after canal preparation. And for mesiobuccal and distobuccal canal, the MAF is 25, while for plateau canal, the MAF is 30. Next, I would like to do some self-reflection for the steps on canal preparation. Then I should always remember to use lubricating paste, or also known as RC prep, as this is a chelating agent. It is able to soften the dentinal wall and facilitate the removal of dentinal debris. And this also helps to prevent fracture of instruments in the canal. And besides that, after each instrumentation, the canal should be irrigated and recapitulated with a K-file size stand. This is to ensure that the canals are free of debris and the patency of the canals are maintained. Next is filling of master gutta-percha. We should always irrigate the canal before filling with the master gutta-percha, and the master gutta-percha should correspond to the master apical file or MAF of the root canal. In the master GP radiograph, all three of the tip of the GP is well fitted and within 0 to 1 mm from the radiographic apex, and hence further adjustment of the MGP is not necessary. Next, I proceed with the obturation. The material that I've used is the gutta-percha, and the technique using is single cone obturation. The master GP cone was coated with sealer and placed in the canal to the working length, and in the radiograph shown, the canal is obturated to the working length and the root canal filling appeared to be homogeneous. And there's some self-reflection in this part where we should always remember to take the obturation radiograph before cutting the gutta-percha. This is very important to allow any corrections to be done, for example in the case where the GP is extruded. After ensuring that the gutta-percha cone is filled up to the working length, the excess GP is cut by using touch and heat. The GP is cut 2 mm below the CEG and is compacted using the endodontic plunger. The chamber is cleaned thoroughly with cotton pellets soaked in chlorhexidine. Lastly, a thin layer of Vitro-Bond is placed and the cavity is etched and applied with dentin bonding agent, followed by placement of composite resin. The final restoration was then finished and polished. And from the post-operative radiograph shown, the firm is well processed. However, there is voids between the corner restoration and the root canal filling. And the voids between the corner restorations and the root canal fillings causes the interface between the restorations and the root canal fillings appears not homogeneous, and hence we can use flowable composite as a liner and pack using DG16 on the floor and light cure. Thank you very much.